Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 39 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. I have been killing lots of things. If you couldn't tell by my experience, which is now level 35, you could probably look in here real quick and see that I've got 40 reinforced slates. Perfect. As you recall last episode, we were taking a look at upgrading our blood magic altar to tier 3. In order to do that, we're going to need 20 runes. In particular, we're going to need pretty much any rune you want, but I'm choosing to go with the rune of sacrifice, because this means that any mobs I kill will give me much more life points in my altar. To go along with these runes of sacrifice, the only other thing we should need is about 4 pieces of glowstone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Done and done. Now, I could have used these 4 blood runes, but I actually got, close, and I was like, you know what, let's just, finish it up and actually make this full runes of sacrifice. So, you probably remember last episode, we were getting a decent amount of life essence, magical energy, from our zombies and such that we're sacrificing at our blood altar. Now that we're upgrading to tier 3, we should get quite a bit more. So let's get these guys filled in. And then the last step should be probably over here. Hey, let me out of there. There we go. So right under here, I presume, is where I'm going to want to run my last set of runes. Looks like we're going to have to do something about this guy. So, let's get these put through here. I'm going to have to route him around this way. So let's get this thing. We're probably also going to want to snag another conduit real quick. You can see I installed a travel anchor there. We're not going to have those conduits in place for much longer, because soon we're going to make this a very efficient mob spawner. I actually came up with, if you guys watch my Forgecraft series, you see I've done this often with whatchamacallit, the Cursed Earth stuff. I found a better way. Well, it's not better really, but it's a little bit better. You'll see. It's going to be crazy. I have to test it a little bit more to make sure it works properly, but I'm pretty sure that the plan I have should be awesome. You'll see. I'm just going to leave that little teaser for you. So let's get this thing rehooked up just so everything's behaving the way we want it to, and then we can finish upgrading this guy to a top tier altar. There we go. You're getting water again. We're pretty much out of rocket fuel, so we might just dismantle this whole system soon enough as it is, but let's just leave it as is for now. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and then just need to put glowstone on top of here. So 1, 2, and let's see, I just want to make sure we should still have a tier 2 altar. As soon as we place these last 2 pieces of glowstone, should get us up to a tier 3 altar. Let's see what happens. Ta-da! Current altar, tier 3. Nice. Let's also flip this thing back on and see what we get by way of monster spawning. So, right now we've got 2720. We kill 1 zombie. And we're at 4420. Nice. Wow. That's almost 2000 LP. It's like 1700-ish, right? Yeah, 1700. I think that's exactly what I'm at. So 1700 LP per zombie killed. Nice. That's a lot better than like the base level, which I think is like 200. Yeah, that's nuts. So we've got that going. I'm going to come back in a minute here. There's a couple things I'd like to make. Now that I have a tier 3 altar, I can get a bunch of cool stuff. I have access to a whole new system of stuff in blood magic. Another thing I want to work towards, it's going to be related to Botania. Remember that I've been running a little bit low on ender pearls. I did spend some time running around outside my base at nighttime, killed lots of endermen, and got myself a handful of pearls. I got about 9 here, and I did get some of those ender zoo fragment things, which I'm pretty sure the best you can do with these is make ender pearls. I don't think there's really much else you can use them for. You can make ender charge, or you can make a concussion charge. Not entirely sure what those do, but maybe I should find out at some point. So my plan is to use Botania to get myself ender pearls. I've got a pretty good idea on how I'm going to accomplish that. I don't know if it's a little bit luck based though, so we're going to have to cross our fingers. So we'll be back in a minute to check all this out. Alright guys, one of the first things I'm going to want to do is install a lever here to ensure that we no longer are transferring items out of this system. And I want to snag a piece of stone, and I want to work towards getting myself a third tier slate. And you'll see why in a minute. But what we've got here, as we remember probably from last episode when I was talking about it, we've got reinforced slate, but then we can upgrade that guy to an imbued slate. It costs 5,000 LP in the blood altar, so you're going to need a decent amount, 8,000 total. So you almost need to be full in order to get your imbued slate here, but that's okay. We shouldn't have too much of a problem now that we've got like this awesome amount of LP coming from mobs, right? So let's maybe, if we want to get a few of these, which, well, I don't know if we want too many, but one thing I definitely want to have is a filter for them so that I can automate it. So let's do this. We'll wait for this thing to get fully upgraded here. One thing you'll note, by the way, is that the altar does move a little bit faster when it's, you know, upgrading something further. Keep that in mind. So there we go. So now I have a way to get imbued slate, reinforced slate, cool stuff, right? So imbued slate. So now, you know, if we were to do that, let's see, we're pretty close. Nice. So this thing should run until we get the third level of slate, which is the imbued slate. And we'll let that run, and then it should get sucked into here. And I'm going to throw these item frames in here. This one I'm going to use to get the tier 1, the blank slate. I just don't have one handy at the moment, so, and I don't feel like pulling that one out. I want to let it get up to the third tier and make sure it gets pulled out properly. Oh yeah, look at that. We're getting tons of LP, courtesy of killing mobs with the dagger. Nice. It was definitely a good plan to upgrade these with all sacrifice runes. That is cool. Nice, and that should get me another one. Perfect. So he, when I turn off the redstone signal, will allow to pull out there. I'll just leave that lever there for now so that, you know, we can turn it on and off when needed. So I want to get a third imbued slate, and then we'll be back. Alright guys, so if we really want to get somewhere with our whole, you know, blood magic altar, we're probably going to get a new orb as well. So remember, every time you upgrade your altar, you're available to a bunch of different upgrades of blood magic, right? So orbs are one of them. So if we take a look at orbs, we'll see that we've already got the weak and the apprentice. We want to get the magician's blood orb, but the trick with this is not the item that's required, but how much LP is required. It requires 25,000 LP to be in your altar in order to get your magician's blood orb. Now, this altar here is only capable of storing a maximum of 10,000. So you have two options. One, you could use some runes. The augmented capacity runes, for example, will allow your altar to store more liquid inside. That would be great, but it would mean replacing our runes of sacrifice. Not so fun. Another option is just make sure you have a bunch of zombies sitting up here ready to go. So let's cross our fingers that there's enough zombies up there ready to do this. So we're going to pop this guy in there, and we're going to wait for a good amount to drain. And then we're going to kill a couple zombies, wait for it to drain, kill a couple zombies, wait for it to drain, and hopefully we've got enough zombies sitting here waiting for, you know, the amount of LP that we need. So it shouldn't be too bad. Just make sure not to overdo it. You know, wait until your LP gets low enough that killing one or two of these guys won't go above 10,000, otherwise that's wasted life points, right? There we go. Slowly but surely working our way up. So this zombie spawner is actually doing pretty good for us at this point. Pretty soon we'll be able to automate this whole thing and not have to worry about LP much at all. Getting there. Nice! We did it! Awesome. So now, find it to myself, and we've got ourselves a magician's blood orb. Beautiful. And I can go ahead and put the smooth stone back in here, which will let it start running again. So I'm working on getting myself even more reinforced slates. Let's get out of here. So the first thing I want to make with this fancy new blood orb is this guy, the sigil of the blood lamp. This is one of my favorite sigils just because it's so cool. Let's see, sigil, there's lots of sigils as I've mentioned in the past. Blood lamp is the one I want to take a look at. So we're going to need some glowstone and a torch. So let's do that. Glowstone, we're going to want 4 of those. We're going to want 3 infused, these guys here. And you need a magician's blood orb to craft this, and you've got the sigil of the blood lamp. Sweet. It fires a projectile. Neato. So what does this sigil of blood lamp do now that the current owner is direwolf 20? It fires a projectile that acts as a light source. So if we were to go outside where we have our altar over here, you'll note that it's not well lit. That's unfortunate. Now clearly we've got, some glowstone, so that's at least nice, but monsters have been spawning out here and I don't want that to happen anymore. I could place torches around, but that sounds kind of boring. So let's place, you can either just right click somewhere to place the light, or you can fire it in projectile form as we saw. So boom, and it plants a light wherever the projectile lands. Cool. So I'm just going to make sure that we get a few lights, and you can just break it by clicking on the little thing. You'll notice that there's actually like a little invisible block there that it's doing the light source for us. So I'll just run around and make sure that we've got plenty of light sources ready to go. That looks good. And we want one there, and probably one right in the middle there. Nice. And I think I also had them on the 4 corners here. So if I place one there, that should take care of that. Beautiful. And there. And we'll probably want one here. And then finally there, there, and there. So it's almost like you don't need to carry torches on you anymore. Cool, right? So we've mostly got this covered. Let's see. Yeah. I think we actually wanted them here. That got a little bit high on us. There we go. That probably looks better. Not bad. Alright, so there's a few spots, obviously, that need to be tidied up a little bit, but I can take care of that myself. Maybe place just one here. And there. Cool. So you can see Sigil of the Blood Lamp definitely useful. Keep in mind, however, that it is going to use LP every time you create it, so 52.95. Placing one of these sigils brings us down to 52.85. Not much, so basically free. You'll also notice on the left-hand side of my screen, when holding the divination sigil, you can see how much LP is available in my network overall. And if we wanted to start storing more LP in our network, we can just place our orb in there and start getting more. So I'm going to make sure to have a lot of LP, and I'll come back in a minute. By the way, with all the zombies we've got, I decided installing a sound muffler was the right course of action. Haha. So guys, I decided also I'm going to upgrade those 4 runes that I had left over to speed runes. This will just make the process of crafting a little bit faster from the altar. So all I have to do is replace, remember I told you once we get a tier 3 altar, the runes in these corners will affect the way things work. So we can do this now. Cool. So now let's take a look at using some of the life points that we've received and stored up here. So this will speed up the crafting process of everything for us. We can now watch as this thing operates just a little bit faster. You'll notice it's a lot quicker to do the crafting operation there. Nice, right? Definitely faster. It would be even faster if we put more speed runes, of course, but we're out of rune slots until we get to a tier 4 altar. Let's make something for a ritual. That's what I want to check out next. So if we take a look at rituals, there's a bunch of different things we're going to need to get this thing up and running. For the time being, I think I'll probably want to turn off my zombie spawner. It looks like there's a lot of zombies hanging out there. I'll burn through them all and then come back, and hopefully the cell have been recharged and we'll be in good shape. So for rituals, there's a few things. The first thing we're going to need is a weak activation crystal. This requires 10,000 LP and a blood altar. We're going to need a lava crystal, which requires 3 buckets of lava, diamond, obsidian, glass. Shouldn't be too hard to come up with. So let's make one. We're going to pop back over to our base and get some buckets of lava. 3 buckets of lava to be exact. Lava crystals are cool, by the way. You can use them pretty much in anything that can accept coal, and it'll use LP and your life points, your soul network, to power whatever you want. You'll also notice my LP is significantly higher than it was a bit ago. I went ahead and hung out by the altar there for a little while and just killed any zombies with my Magician's Blood Orb, soaking up all the good stuff. So let's get that crystal ready to go. Let's get my Botania book there back, because I need that for something in a minute. All right, so what we want is the Ritual Activation Crystal. So the weak one is what we want. We're going to want that. And then we just place a Magician's Blood Orb in the center, and it's ready to go. Beautiful. So now that we've got that, we're in good shape. The other things we're going to need are some ritual stones. And as you can see here, they're not too hard to make either, but you do need one reinforced stone per ritual stone. So it's basically 1 for 1, but they craft them 4 at a time. And then we're also going to want a Master Ritual Stone. This thing's a little bit more expensive. It requires 4 Ritual Stones to make 1 Master Ritual Stone. Every ritual you make is going to need 1 Master Ritual Stone and a certain number of Ritual Stones. Okay. Finally, the last thing you're going to want to make are these Ritual Diviners. Now, you have 2 options. Early game, you're going to need to make this one, which is available when you're at a Tier 3 altar. The upgraded version is for Tier 4 altars only, because the items that require it can only be made in a Tier 4 altar. So for now, we're going to need the following. These 4 elemental inscription tools. So we're going to need a Ghast Tear. We're going to need a Lapis block and some magma cream and some obsidian. I'm going to get all that, head over to my altar, and start making what I want to make. So the first operation, throw the lava crystal in there with 10,000 LP, and we should wind up with the weak activation crystal. While that's going, I'm going to kill a few more zombies, get ourselves a good amount of LP back, so that I can make the first of my elemental inscription tools using magma cream. Simply throw it in there, a few thousand LP later, and you'll find that we've got ourselves the first tool. I'm going to go ahead and make the others now off camera. And now it's a simple matter of crafting the Ritual Diviner. Nice. And of course, don't forget to right-click it to bind it to your player. That's going to be important. So this guy's ready to go. Now he's going to drain from your soul network anytime you use him, so make sure you have a decent soul network available when you want to get up and running. So there's a bunch of different rituals we can make, and you can shift click or just for now mouse over. You can see the current one, the owner's Direwolf 20. We don't have a ritual selected. Just shift right click to change it. Ritual of the Full Spring will create lots of water source blocks for you. Ritual or Serenade of the Nether creates a bunch of lava, and there's a long list of rituals you can get here. High jump, magnetism, suffering, regeneration. Like, just look at the massive number of rituals that are available to check out here. So we'll play with some of these throughout the series. There's one in particular that I want to start messing with right now, and that would be the Serenade of the Nether. You'll note when you mouse over it and hold shift, it'll tell you exactly how many ritual stones you need. So we're going to need 4 fire stones for this. So we're going to need 4 ritual stones in addition to, like I said, always 1 master ritual stone. So let's keep that in mind. Now I'm going to switch gears and jump over to Botania. So guys, one thing that I've been really kind of low on lately has been ender pearls, and I started this episode by telling you I have a plan on how to hopefully get lots of them. Now there's lots of different ways you can go about getting ender pearls. We can go visit the end, we can start killing endermen, we can, hunt for them at night, we can build an enderman spawner, or we can come up with a little bit of a farm. And that's what I'm going to use Botania for, to get started with. There is an item that's available in the game, courtesy of Extra Utilities, that makes ender pearls a little bit easier to come by. Unfortunately, it's very rare to find. You can only find it in dungeons. And you could spend all day running around looking for dungeons and not find any, let alone one that has the right loot in it. So we're going to use Botania to do something very cool. I want to make Alunium. It's a very nice little device that basically uses a pretty large amount of mana from your mana pools and will automatically spawn random dungeon loot nearby. So what we're going to do is set up a system to manage this. So let's do it. I'm going to need a lot of stuff. We're going to need a bunch of different flower petals, which are easy. Redstone root, which is also pretty easy. It's just grass and redstone. But the difficult part will be all these different runes. We're going to need a rune of envy, which requires a rune of water and a rune of winter. Winter requiring earth and water, and cake and wool and snow, and a huge amount of stuff to get started. So I'm going to do a lot of rune crafting here off camera. Another rune of winter and fire. Looks pretty fun. So let's see. So that's 2 runes of winter, right? And then what's the sloth one require? Air and autumn. Autumn being fire and air. So we're going to need a lot. A lot. So let me get started collecting all the stuff we're going to need to make these runes. And then I'm going to pretty quickly over the next minute or two craft them, mostly off camera, just pop it in now and then to let you guys know how my progress is going. And then we'll be back ready to use the lunium. In preparation for my materials, I discovered I had exactly 1 nether wart, so I decided to build a little mini farm down here, and I'm using the sigil of the green grove to help speed up the process of collecting nether wart. And it looks like they keep popping into my terrain smashers, but that's okay. No big deal. Alright, that should be good. Alright guys, starting the crafting process for my runes. I think I've got pretty much everything in my inventory that I need. I'll be back when most of this is complete. Alright guys, I think I've got everything I need. Holy cow, that was a lot of rune crafting. But I managed to get envy, sloth, and gluttony. Actually 2 sets of each, because each time you craft these guys, you wind up getting 2 of them, which is at least nice. So I can probably make 2 of these luniums if I need to, but I don't just yet. We're also going to need green petals, 2 of them being mana, and gray petals. Okay, so let's get a gray flower in here, and 2 greens. Cool. And we're going to do that, and this, and that, and then we should be ready to go. So 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. We'll add grass plus redstone to get the redstone root. We'll get our runes going here. And then it should just be some regular old seeds, which I could have sworn I had a bunch in here, but I guess not. No seeds. Great. I do have a wheat farm, don't I? And nice. That is awesome. All right, let's sleep through the night and check this thing out. All right, next flower to make, hopper hawk. This thing is pretty cool. It's basically an in-world hopper that sucks up items for you. So we're going to need a gray and a light gray, a gray and a light gray mana petal, a redstone root, a rune of air, and seeds equals hopper hawk. Cool. Last thing I'm going to want to have. Let's see. How do I want to do this? I'm definitely going to want... I don't know if this building is where I want to put this thing that I have. I might want to put it out back behind the building, might be a good spot. So let me grab some dirt, fill in some terrain, and get that ready where I want to be. Alright guys, hopefully I've got everything I need here to make this cool contraption. So let's get the following set up. I'm going to place my diluted mana pool. Is that about where I want to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I guess that's fine. And then next to it, I'll place my lunium in just a minute, though. First thing I want to make is snag a piece of gold and any color petal to make myself a mana spreader. Not a redstone one, just a regular one. Well, okay, you don't want to do that. Why not? Gold and... there we go. Mana spreader. Cool. That guy's going to sit right here. I'll just place him down for the time being like that. And I want to do something cool with him. So first off, I'm going to switch this thing and make sure we're in bind mode for the Wand of the Forest. This is going to let us bind a mana spreader. So shift right click the mana spreader and... is it shift right click? There we go. Cool. And you'll notice it's starting to send mana over to that pool. It's draining it, of course, from this mana pool. So we're still draining out of this mana pool, sending mana into that mana pool. We can, if we would like, turn this off using a redstone signal. So, like that, we turn it off. Cool. Now, I would like, if I can, to keep the wall up. Now, unfortunately, mana bursts cannot travel through walls, unless you upgrade the spreader that's shooting them. So let's do that. To get this, we're going to want the following item. It's called the Phantom Mana Lens. So there's a bunch of different mana lenses that you can place in front of a mana spreader. You can color them all kinds of different colors and make them look cool. But the other thing you can do is change the properties of the mana burst that comes out of the spreader by combining the mana lens with certain things. The one I want to get is this guy called the Phantom Lens. It allows the mana burst to travel through blocks. All we need is an abstruse platform, which is going to need framed living wood, and yeah, a couple kinds of framed living and a pearl. Let's go get a mana pearl over at our base, and while we're at it, sleep through the night. Dun 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 dun. Okay, so mana pearl, please. That would be you. Pop back here, and mana pearl goes in there like that. Cool. So I can't just do this straight up like this. All right, so let's craft this up. We'll want patterned living wood, and then framed living wood is made like so. And then I should be able to just do... All right, guys, I'm not sure why, but shift-clicking the recipe for this into the crafting station here is crashing my client every time I do it. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend you avoid doing that. All right, so mana lens plus abstruse platform yields this thing. These things are pretty cool, by the way, but we'll check them out in a minute. So I'm just going to plop that mana lens on the front there, and then what should happen is we can place the walls back down. There's just one thing I want to do. Doing this makes it so that the mana loss location of the beam is a little bit earlier than it normally would be, so it looks to me like we're not going to have any mana loss here. That's good. Okay, so that's cool. That's really what I wanted to focus on making sure of. Cool. For now, I'm just going to make sure I can get in and out of here. So if we watch, the mana pulse should still be allowed to travel and hit the mana pool. Nice. So he's accepting mana, and he's doing cool stuff. All right, back in a minute. So clearly I'm going to have to rearrange and change some stuff up if I want to fit all the cool Botania stuff I plan to have in this room, but we'll get there eventually. For now, I'm just going to speed this process up by using the mana tablet. It's obviously much faster, but of course a more manual way of doing things. Not a big deal though. So that thing should be filling up. Now what I'm going to do is place down a chest. And we may eventually need a iron chest for this, but that's okay. I'm going to place down a hopper hawk nearby. And what's cool about this is the hopper hawk can accept mana, and it'll increase the range at which it can pick items up. So you'll notice that it immediately picked up that mana tablet nearby and threw it in the chest. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, if we wanted to prevent it from being able to pick up the mana tablet, we could put an item frame on the chest. And either, you can see right now it's set to pick up items in frames. We could switch this to function mode and change that to pick up only items not in frames, or pick up any items. If there are no frames on the chest, it'll just pick up everything, so that's fine. So we have a mana pool with lots of mana in it. Let's place down our good buddy, the Lunium. You'll notice that it just drained a big chunk of mana, but within a few seconds it should randomly spawn some kind of loot from a chest. Let's see what happens. There we go. Nice. What do we get? The steel helmet from Railcraft. Not great. Not bad, but not great. So the Lunium will randomly generate items that would normally be found in dungeon loot chests. We just got a single-use safari net. Cool. There's a particular item I'm looking for. Ender lilies. Ender lilies are super cool and useful. They're basically plants that can grow ender pearls. They do take a long time to grow, but that's something we can deal with and manage. So here we are, ender lily seeds. They can only be found in dungeons, or now, courtesy of the Lunium. So we're going to leave this here and let it run. It's obviously already drained about a quarter of a mana pool worth of mana. So quite a bit. Oh, you know what? We are having a mana loss point here. Darn, I was hoping we didn't, but it looks like we do. just close enough. So you know what, I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to wind up moving the mana pool a little bit closer. That's the point at which we're losing mana, so I should probably move the mana pool right into that spot. Sounds like a plan. So far, nothing terribly good. Got steel boots. That's the downside to the Lunium. It costs a huge amount of mana. It has the potential to get some really good loot, but it also has the potential to get some really bad loot. It's really up to how lucky you are. I just got the Game of Life floppy disk, and it looks like some nether quartz. Awesome. Oh well, we're going to leave this here for a little bit, and I'm just going to keep an eye on the mana pools and make sure I'm going to move it once this thing is empty here. So we might have a little bit more mana left. We could probably spawn a couple more items. Oh cool, we got the logic matrix programmer from factorization. That's kind of useful. By the way, guys, it should be noted that any plant whose recipe includes one of those redstone roots can be disabled by applying a redstone signal to it. So you'll notice here that when I drop my thing in there, and of course the Hopper Hawk's going to pick it up in a second, but that's okay. I'm just going to get this filled up real quick a little bit. At least enough to potentially have taken care of things. So I got a couple pieces of loot. Nothing too exciting, nothing too good. But, you know, at least it's something, right? There we go. And Hopper Hawk, come back to me. So you'll note that the Lunium is not actually running right now. Or is it? It shouldn't be. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it is. It's filled up with mana, but it's not actually operating. So if we watch the mana pool here for a sec, I'm just going to give it a minute to make sure that it doesn't run. Yeah. When we remove the redstone signal, it's allowed to run again, and it should spawn some kind of item for us. Neat? Cool. Oh, another one of those factorization things. All right, redstone signal back on. I want to let the mana pools fill up. So obviously we're using a ton of mana now, way more than we were using before. And we're going to need an upgraded mana production because as we advance to Botania, we're going to need lots more mana. That's why I wanted to focus on getting the rituals from blood magic going because, guess what? We're going to use some pretty useful stuff from blood magic to make mana production in Botania a little bit easier. So that's probably what we're going to have to take a look at next episode, I think. Alright, so next episode we'll come back. We'll use some blood magic rituals to generate much more mana from Botania. And then we'll start looking at, making some other cool stuff. Hopefully, from my mana pools, I might just go ahead and let Botania, the Lunium thing, run for a little bit longer. Maybe I'll get an Ender Lily seed. Maybe I won't. If I do, hooray. If not, we'll just have to wait until we do. I did test this in single player, and it took a while to get, but it's totally random. There we go. Speak of the devil. Speaking of totally random. Okay, there you go. Just managed to get my Ender Lily seeds. Wow, that was totally 100% luck. Nice. So Ender Lily seeds take a really long time to grow. It takes a full Minecraft week. So 7 Minecraft days in order to grow into a full Ender Lily seed. But we can speed that up with a couple processes, also involving blood magic. So next episode, I guess we're going to start working not only on getting more mana from Botania, but also implementing an Ender Lily seed farm. Wow, that was like, I couldn't have planned that any better. Way to go, random number generator. All right, I like you today, Minecraft random number generator. Normally I do not like Minecraft's random number generator. Today I do. Alright guys, for now, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back next time having a good bit of fun with some magical based mods after a whole bunch of technological stuff the last few episodes. And remember, next episode we do have a world download available, so hopefully I'll have all this stuff at least as automated as possible by the time I've got the world download ready for you. Alright guys, take it easy.